The royal circle is shocked by the woman I choose as my future wife. The royal circle stands in silence as I walk toward them, their eyes sharp as the edges of a throne carved in ancient loyalty. Their whispers float like the wind that hides its own truth. They expect a princess shaped by tradition, a figure wrapped in silk and royal expectation, a woman chosen for me long before my heart learned to speak. But today I bring them a truth they never prepared for. I choose a woman who does not belong to their measured world, a woman whose steps carry storms and stories, a woman whose gaze holds the strength of 1,000 deserts. She is not the future they built inside their guarded walls, yet she is the future my soul has been waiting to embrace. The royal circle watches. Their silence grows larger than the marble hall. They want to question me, but their tongues remain chained by pride. They want to refuse me, but the fire in my eyes warns them not to. For this moment is not a request. This moment is a declaration. I stand before them with a heart no longer hidden. For years I've followed rules written by hands older than mine. Rules that shaped how a prince must live, how a prince must choose. But a man becomes empty when he follows expectations instead of his destiny. And I no longer wish to live empty. She enters behind me. Not in silk, not in diamonds. She enters carrying only her truth. And her truth is more powerful than any crown laid upon my head. Her presence sends a breath through the hall. Some faces soften in wonder. Others tighten with disbelief. But none can ignore the way the air bends around her. She is a woman who brings light even to places built from shadow. They try to measure her. They try to weigh her worth with their silent judgment. But she is a soul that cannot be measured. She is a heart that cannot be weighed, for she is not shaped by their world. She is shaped by life itself. I remember the moment I first saw her. The world did not stop, but something inside me finally began. Her voice carried wisdom untouched by fear. Her hands carried warmth untouched by doubt. She was not born to be royal, but she was born to be mine. The royal circle speaks at last. Their voices blend with disbelief and caution. But I lift my hand and silence returns, for their words cannot rewrite my destiny. They cannot unsee the truth standing beside me. I tell them, a future wife is not chosen by bloodlines. A future wife is chosen by the soul. A future wife is not measured by age or status. A future wife is measured by the love she carries, and the love she returns. She walks forward, standing beside me with a calmness they cannot understand. She does not shrink. She does not bow. She stands as a woman who knows her worth, and her worth shines brighter than their crown. I see the shock in their eyes, but I also see something else rising beneath it. Respect, a respect they did not expect to feel, a respect they cannot hide, for she may not look like the future they imagined, but she looks like the future I choose. The palace corridors feel different today. The walls that held centuries of expectation tremble with whispers. Servants move quietly as if they sense a shift. The royal circle gathers again, eyes fixed on the woman who defies their imagination. I stand beside her knowing she belongs to me, not to their rules, not to their judgments, not to their history. She walks through the hall carrying herself with calm power. Each step echoes like the heartbeat of something sacred. They cannot match her presence with protocol or tradition. They try to fill the silence with polite questions, but their words fall flat against the rhythm of truth. I remember every lesson I was taught about love, every caution whispered behind closed doors. Every warning that a prince must choose wisely. But love is not wise, it is fearless. Love does not bend to expectation. Love does not wait for permission. Love breaks the world open and builds it new. I feel her hand brush against mine, a simple touch that speaks louder than any declaration. It is a promise of loyalty, courage, and fire. It is a promise that I will not live a life half empty. It is a promise that I will rise with her not alone. The royal circle leans closer, their whispers louder than before. They try to define her with old words, old rules, old judgments. But she cannot be defined. She cannot be captured. She is a force that moves freely, even in confined spaces. She is a storm that cannot be chained. She is a light that cannot be hidden. I remember the first moment our eyes met. A world of color unfolded inside me. I had walked through corridors of expectation for years. I had smiled for strangers, I had bowed for history. But when she looked at me, the world paused, and I finally saw what I had been missing. They ask about her family, her past, her life. I answer with a truth that cannot be silenced. She is the woman who completes me. She is the woman who teaches me to be whole. She is the woman who carries my heart in her hands. And nothing else matters. I see the royal circle struggle to reconcile reality with desire. Some faces soften in awe, some tighten with fear. But fear will not change what is written in my soul. A soul that chooses freely and loves without compromise. We walk together through the palace gardens. The fountains sing in harmony with our steps. The flowers bloom more vividly as if they sense our truth. Birds circle above as if celebrating what cannot be denied. The air feels lighter, freer, brighter than any day before. And the palace feels new as if centuries of walls could not contain this love. She looks at me and smiles. A smile that carries centuries of wisdom and courage. A smile that tells me everything I need to know. We do not need the approval of the royal circle. We do not need the crown. We only need each other. The royal circle observes silently, their shock slowly transforming into quiet respect. They see that their world has shifted. They see that the future is not built from tradition alone. It is built from hearts brave enough to choose truth. The palace has grown quiet as if listening to a new story. A story written not in marble, not in gold, not in decree, but in the hearts of two souls who refuse to bend. The royal circle watches, still unsure how to respond. Their shock now mingled with curiosity and a quiet admiration. For the woman beside me is unlike anyone they have known. She speaks softly, yet every word carries weight. Every gesture radiates strength. She is not afraid to challenge the invisible walls of expectation. She is not afraid to stand as herself. She is not afraid to love with a courage that changes the air around her. I remember walking through these halls alone, following paths carved by others, carrying burdens too heavy to name. I learned to hide my longing to please. I learned to follow rules that never fit my heart. I learned that silence often feels safer than truth. But she has taught me the opposite. She has shown me that the world bends for those who dare. She has shown me that love cannot be contained. She has shown me that courage is measured by action, not fear. With her hand in mine, I feel an unstoppable force. A force that can rewrite what is expected of a prince. A force that can remake the palace itself. The royal circle leans forward, some in disbelief, some in awe. They try to understand how one man could choose against centuries of tradition. They try to measure the woman who stands before them. But measurement fails in the presence of a soul that is unbound. Her spirit is limitless, her heart unshakable, her love for me undeniable. We walk along the palace terrace. The night sky stretches like an infinite promise. Stars shimmer in approval or perhaps envy. The wind carries whispers of stories not yet told, and I feel a sense of freedom I have never known. Freedom born from choosing what the heart demands. Freedom born from love that cannot be denied. She looks at me with eyes that know all my fears and hopes. She smiles with a strength that quiets my doubt. I know that together we are unbreakable. Together we can face every expectation, every judgment, every silent whisper. Together we can transform the palace not by force but by example. Together we can teach the royal circle the power of truth and choice. The royal circle listens. They see a love that transcends titles and age. They see a partnership that radiates equality and devotion. They realize that the future is not a chain of duty. It is a journey of hearts that dare to be free. It is a legacy not written on walls but lived in life. I take her hand, and the palace seems to breathe with us. The corridors feel wider. The chandeliers shine brighter. Even the echoes of history seem softer, gentler, as if acknowledging that something new and magnificent has begun. We move forward together, every step a declaration, every glance a promise. The royal circle may be shocked, but they cannot undo what is true. The woman I choose as my future wife is the woman who holds my heart and guides my soul. She is the future unfolding, the love that reshapes everything.